Hello everyone, I'm Iron Phoenix and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Now, I've been sitting in the Steam discussion forums for a while and been answering some questions and, just generally talking to people on there. And I've been making a list of commonly asked questions about Kerbal Space Program. Now, in the video that I did, the vlog, really don't like that name. Why can't they do it something a bit more? One's off the tongue a bit better. So yeah, anyway, on my vlog I said I was going to do some stuff on Unity and so on and so forth. But what I've been doing is I've wanted to do Kerbal Space Program as the first Unity game. But I've also been waiting for this patch that they're doing. Now it's quite a big patch. It's quite an important patch, I suppose. It adds quite a lot to the crew, so I've been kind of waiting for that, and then I might do sort of a step-by-step sort of thing with Unity, the space program. So each episode does, getting something into orbit, putting something on the moon, that sort of thing. So anyway, I thought, well, there's been so many questions and people just not really knowing what's what, so I thought I'd sort of clarify some things and also show you the awesome stuff as well. So we'll go into the complaints first. It's pretty, humdrum stuff, so I will try and see if I can put one of those link things, so if you want to go straight through to the gameplay, all the good stuff, then so be it. But if you do want to hear the sort of the things that people have been a little bit unsure about, then let's just get on with it, really. So first things first, there is no 64-bit version. There's also no multi-core version. Now, this isn't such a problem, really. I mean, this is an alpha, and it's certainly one of the better alphas that I've played/tested. Certainly, I've known of no alphas, I don't think, that have really been in such a good state. Squad have done an excellent job at making sure that Kerbal Space Program works. My mic is actually plugged in. There was a complaint by a YouTuber anyway, that on the menu it runs at almost 2 gig of RAM. Now I've done my own test and I'm getting 1.2 gig of RAM, so which is about, this is on the main menu, but it is a scene rendered in Unity. Who knows? It probably will use a fair chunk of RAM, because quite frankly it is an alpha and it is unoptimized. The squad have done work. They've done 2 passes now of optimization work, and things are looking a lot better from the optimization front, but that's something to take. It will take RAM from you, but it's in alpha and it's in a really, really good shape, I think. I will just note that some people have been noting a lot of crashes. I've certainly not been seeing that. I don't know if it's because my system's an AMD NVIDIA combination or the type of RAM I use. I used to work compact, so I do know that even just a little hardware change that's different from one system to another can dramatically affect the game. We had some issues in some multiplayer driving games whereby the AMD chipsets would physically run the game faster than the Intel ones, and it was so weird. I think it used to be something to do with how the AMD processors were made, and just so literally the car would move around the track faster in a multiplayer game if you were playing an AMD machine compared to an Intel one, and it was absolutely bizarre. But that's the sort of thing that you're going to get. This is, as I said before, this is an alpha. You're going to get weird stuff happen. There's no multiplayer. This is because of the Space Kraken and how the game is coded. So basically the solar system moves around you, in a nutshell. There is no workshop. This is because they are going to be integrating Spaceport fully into the game. The Steam version does not use Steamworks, and it also does not use the Steam DRM. This means that the only difference really between the two versions of Kerbal Space Program is that one uses the Steam servers and one uses Amazon. Really, there isn't really much of a difference between the two servers, although potentially you're going to get better service on the Steam ones, because it's Steam. It's moved on quite a long way since the old days where a release would mean that the Steam servers crashed. So yeah, price is quite an important one. In my opinion, I paid £8 for Kerbal Space Program. This was back in the day before Steam. I started playing at 0.8, and the game, originally the game was about £2, and I didn't feel quite comfortable with paying for it back then. But it got to a price point where there was enough content really to justify the price. Certainly, I think the price is still justified now. It has gone on sale once. It might go on sale again. It might be in the Steam sales. Who knows? But sorry, I'm just going to sign out of Friends here. Offline. Right. Okay then. So yeah, if you feel happy with the price, by all means, there is a demo on both the store and Steam. The one warning that I will make about the demo is that basically they got to a build where they wanted to make that the demo. They made that the demo. They made that the free version, and then left it. So there are bugs in it. There are some annoying issues with it, but it is quite a good example of what the game entails. There is no autopilot, and I will be showing that in a bit when we go to the awesome stuff. And again, the toughness as well. The game will take some learning. It's rocket science. Certainly, I can't really show docking because I haven't mastered it yet. But I've landed on planets using well-built ships. So yeah, if you find it hard, try doing something a little bit easier. Don't try and get to the moon. Try and orbit Kerbin. Build a space plane. If you get bored, build a space plane, travel around Kerbin, see the sights, try and land. There's a lot of stuff to do. Weapons. There will be no weapons in the game. The Kerbal Society is peaceful and it's unified. There's no countries. There's frankly not even trees. The only life seems to be at the Kerbal Space Program, which is quite. But it's alpha. It's early days. Things will be added. DLC. This is quite an important one, right? And this is something that I got slightly annoyed about, but not for the reasons why you might have thought. So I was on the stream when Squad first talked about DLC, and they weren't talking about DLC. Basically, they were talking about that all updates were going to be free. What they meant by this was that all patches to the game up to the final point would be free. And when they clarified it, I already suspected that's what they meant. And when they clarified, I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. Not DLC. They're not going to be doing DLC. They're not going to be doing a free expansion pack. They just want the game to be, for you to have a nice experience, for all the updates to be free until the game's ready to ship. And then people will buy it at retail and they'll have a complete game. And then if the time comes and they want to do some DLC, they want to do an expansion pack, so be it. They'll do an expansion pack and it will cost some money. So if you haven't bought the game, which I would say that you should, if you haven't bought the game by now, you won't get any free DLC. If you bought the game before April, you will. It's a fair deal. People that got confused about the what Squad had said, they'll get some free DLC if they bought it before April. If they, they still haven't bought the game, then they won't. Simple as. So that's the lot, really. The game's in alpha. There's going to be problems with it. There's nothing really much, It's a decent game. So let's get on with the awesome, and I'm going to show you some awesome stuff now. I'm going to resume my saved game, and we're going to just explore the world, see the stuff that I've done, and maybe we'll take a space plane out and travel around the world. So let's go into here. This is basically this is the map, and I can click on any of these and it will take me, and I can go to each one. But first I want to show you the solar system, because it's quite detailed. So you have Kerbin, and you can fly around Kerbin, you can land anywhere on Kerbin. There's no sort of limitations to that at all. And I've got some flights orbiting around Kerbin at the moment. So let's zoom out a little bit. So there is the moon. That's the first planet, and this and this is what you get in the demo. So you can go up to the moon, you can land on the moon, you can come down again, and you can travel around Kerbin, you can travel around the moon. That's what you get in the demo. Now we go into the full game. So that's what you get in the full game, and all of this. You can land on any one of these planets, and as well as that, well, you can. There's some planets you can't land on because they're actually gas giants like Jool. But Jool has moons that you can land on. So Lathe, that's what Lathe looks like. And you can land anywhere on that moon, or you can land on any of that moon, and you can build rovers and drive around on there. It's completely up to you what you do with this game. Right, I will say that I do have some mods installed. I've got Haystack mod, which allows me to load stuff from the map, and I also have Protractor, which allows me to see where planets are in relation to Kerbin. Those are the only two mods that I have installed, I think. I don't think I have Kethane installed. I might do. I don't think I do though. But anyway, let's go to some people. So I haven't been to these people for a while, so let's go and see Jeb. Hopefully this will load. There's been a few weirdities, like this one. Here we go. So that's Jeb, and you can run him around. You can plant the flag, and I dropped a rover down here, and I broke the wheel on landing, so I had to drive it all the way to Jeb. Sorry, I had to drive it to Jeb so that he could fix the wheel. So I'm suffering from a bit of hay fever. I've taken a tablet and it isn't really working today, but it's bloody hot here. And yeah, this is the lander that I dropped down, and yeah, it's a really decent game, really. Let's see what else. This is Haystack. This is a mod. Let's go to Eve. Eve's cool. Who landed on Eve? Catapult landed on Eve. So this is probably one of the first planets that you'll land on. This is the first manned expedition that I made to Eve, and I can't get him out because the way that this landed, it meant that it fell over and so he can't actually get out because the crew hatch is obstructed, which is a bit annoying. So I'll have to launch a rescue mission to save him at some point. The last rescue mission I sent missed the planet. So this is Protractor. It just shows you where everything is in relation to, it's a mod, and doesn't really get in the way. There are other mods out there. There is a mod called MechJeb, which allows for autopilot, so you can literally just click to a place and say go there and it will take you there. But really, do you want to do that? Really? I enjoy the construction and I enjoy the flight, and to me a landing isn't successful unless I've actually managed to get the craft there all the way without any sort of real aids. Protractor doesn't count, it just tells me when something's in, when I can actually when plants are in the right place, basically. Maneuver nodes don't count, it's part of the game. So I've shown you things on planets and I've shown you the solar system. I will now show you the construction system. Things are going to be changing next build, and hopefully I'll have the I'll be able to show you stuff, basically, and I'll have a Kerbal space program. That's what I want, basically. So this is the vehicle construction area, and you can build vehicles. You pick a cockpit, and let's shove an SAS module on it. Actually, slight change. There we go. Just because I don't want to kill any Kerbals. I don't like killing Kerbals, they're so cute. Oh, I do have Kethane on. The green one's a Kethane. There's all sorts of mods you can download though. Mods that add dangerous atmospheres, mods that do all sorts of things. Just, if you want to mod it, have a look on Spaceport, see what they've got, and have a look on the forums as well, because there's more forums more forums on Spaceport. There's more mods on the forums than there are on Spaceport. Certainly Kethane mod isn't on Spaceport, you have to delve through the forums. So this is a rocket, single stage rocket. It's not going to go particularly high, but you can take off. And this is the game. You just build stuff and then you launch it and you see if you can get it into orbit, and you can see if you can create a stable orbit, or drop onto the North Pole, or do whatever you want to do. There's no real limits. The only limits to it really is your imagination and your skill. It is to a certain extent a skill-based game. So let's just quit out of this, because I think what you really want to see is something a little bit bigger. So let's go to Catapult. Now Catapult, let's launch Catapult. Catapult is this. So I have 9 solid state of the large solid stage boosters, and all of these are struts to keep it together. If you don't put struts on this, it'll just shake itself to pieces. I've got 3 liquids with 2 tanks, or the tall tanks on each of them. This is an atomic engine with 2 more tanks, and then we've got a small sort of lander module. This is not really designed for landing per se. This is more designed for atmospheric landings. So it's not designed to land on the moon, it's designed to land on Eve. But let's launch this baby. So let's crank up to about... Now I don't do a particularly economic burn, I must say. Let's do about half throttle to start with. SAS is on. Now I may as well, as we're doing this launch and stuff, I may as well talk a bit about the next patch. They're bringing new SAS systems into play, which are a lot less invasive. As you can see here, SAS makes, advanced SAS makes everything sort of flap around a bit. That won't be a problem with the new build. There's a lot more sort of crew management stuff going on. Probably new parts. Saves will be broken though. That's important to note. But because saves are being broken in the next update, they're planning on adding a lot more stuff to kind of compensate. Things that they would have added before, but it would have broken saves, so they didn't really want to do it. But now that saves are being broken, they can afford to do it, really. So up we go. And you've got full facial animation down on the Kerbal down here, and he seems to be screaming at the moment. They kind of vary a bit. Nothing much. Oh, I can also show you this. This is kind of cool. You can right click on a part, and then it will show you can kind of jettison things, lock the gimbals, activate engines, various things like that. When we get high enough, just check the map to see where my stuff is. What else can I really say about this? There are issues where you can have get sort of frame rate drops with large part pieces. Again, it's an alpha, it's in Unity. What do you expect, really? Unity's a damn fine engine, really. It's very versatile, and really, you know, what else would Squad have chosen? You know, people complain about the engine, but really they had, what, 5 options? They use Source, which means that they have a total of half a mile cubed without hacking the engine to allow for more. And even then you're not really allowing for more, you're just shrinking the player and all the props around it. So, yeah. Unreal Engine, which is fine for large teams that know exactly what they're doing, but smaller teams that are quite kind of new to the whole thing, it's, you know, it is pretty tough, especially when you're trying to make UIs and you need additional software to do it. CryEngine would be a possibility, or yeah, CryEngine's the only one. Sorry, I'm thinking of Far Cry, thinking that Far Cry uses something else, but it doesn't. So yeah, CryEngine. Sorry, oops. Sorry, I'm just making a maneuver node. This is how you do a maneuver node. You drag and you drag things in. So yeah, they could make their own engine, which would cost them millions. Really not kidding, engines cost a huge amount, and even if you add a load of middleware, you still need to get licenses for that, whereas Unity costs, what, 1,000 for the initial purchase, really, and then there's some add-ons that you can have, which cost another 200, 300 each. So, you know, really, out of all the engines, they could have had something like Game Maker or Flash, but that's what they started with. This used to be a Flash game, and they moved to Unity, and you know, it's, as I said before, it is an absolutely brilliant engine, and people shouldn't complain that it's on Unity, because, well, they've allowed them to do so much, really, and I don't know of any other engines that really have this flexibility. And I have used other engines, and I haven't really been happy with any of them. Unity's been only the one which I really worked well with, apart from Source. But I got to a limit with Source where I couldn't really do what I needed it to do. So, yeah. So really, this is the game. There is a time warp, which I don't really... Well, I do use it for sort of big sort of jumps. Oh, I need to open my solar panels. Keep forgetting to do this. There is also an RTG you can use if you keep forgetting to open your solar panels. Nothing more I can really say about the game. If you are wondering if this is the sort of game that you want to buy, then download the demo. Play the demo. Obviously there are issues with the demo, but you know, as I've said before, it does give you a very good example of what the game entails. If you like the demo, then buy the game. Nothing more I can really say. I really enjoy Kerbal Space Program. The sort of the common complaints that I had at the beginning, I don't really see any problem with any of them. You know, not having 64-bit and multi-core, oh well. A lot of games don't actually, or quite a few games, even when multi-core was sort of, especially when multi-core was first coming out, you didn't have games that ran on multi-core. God no. So really, you know, not having 64-bit version, this is, I think, in DX11. I think this is actually in yes, Unity does support DX11, and this does support DX11. But you know, again, I don't really notice too much of a difference between DX9 and DX11. It allows for some other cool features. So, you know, if you like what you've seen here, if you're not really put out by the common complaints that people seem to have, which I certainly don't have a problem with any of those issues, then get the demo, buy the game, launch things into space, try not to kill Kerbals because that's bad and mean, and give your Kerbals muffins because that's good. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.